Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris the High Guy Jacobs, and today we've got another episode of Who TF Are You? And sitting across the microphone for me today is the one and only SARCI, leader of HNB. SARCI, thank you very much for sitting down with us. I really do appreciate it. Go ahead and say hello to the people.
Hello everyone, I'm at the R4, R5 of HNB. Been playing for over 2 years now, and I'm just here to have a chat with the High Guy.
Awesome. That's so great. I'm actually a little bit starstruck. I'm going to stumble on my words here a little bit, just because we obviously see HNB at the top of the leaderboards all the time. So there's got to be some, there's always a little bit of, what they call anxiety, I guess you could say, when you're talking to people who've been doing this for a long time. So I really do appreciate you sitting down with me. But before we dive into it too much, I did sense a bit of an accent. So where do you call in from?
Yeah, I'm from England in the UK.
Oh, nice.
I've been all places too.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think no, that's okay. We were recently talking just before we started recording. The UK is a place that I still want to visit. I have a couple of friends that are from there. One that was from Preston. He lives in Canada now. He's dating or I guess you could say they're not married, but you know what I mean? Like, they've been together for a long enough time with my sister. So anyways, let me ask you a quick question about the game here, SARCI. You've been playing now for 845 days. What brings you back every day?
The people. Like, I think if you couldn't, like, some people play and don't talk. Like, we have some in HNB who just talk now and then. But for me, it's the social side. Like, if there wasn't that chat option, I wouldn't be playing anymore. It's
100%. It's probably the most common answer that people tell me. Don't get me wrong. The game is fun, right? The fighting and stuff is fun. The mechanics and stuff is fun. But the thing that brings people back over and over is the community, the people itself.
Yeah.
And you'd have to admit, you meet some pretty crazy people in this game, right?
Oh, yeah. All walks of life.
Not all of them the nicest of people, but the majority of them with a good sense of, direction, at least I can say.
Yeah. Over 2 years, you meet a variety. So.
It's true. I mean, especially when you're up near the top, because you probably get requests from a lot of people to do you still get requests from people to join HNB fairly regularly, or is it like?
Oh yeah, daily. Like, I just logged in when I came back from my shopping earlier and had 3 messages, and it's like, and then you got in leader chat, people say this person wants to join.
And you got to be really kind of careful, right?
Yeah. You get people saying, can I pretend you're my family member?
No, I won't be your family member. No, that's not how. But I guess when you have, so many players, at least, that we've kind of seen a lot of those whales jumping from region to region, there's always a demand for, big players to kind of step in and be that role. But I can totally appreciate how when you get asked by everybody, it can probably get a little bit taxing, eh?
Yeah, you get to a point where it feels like you're rude, but you've got on our board what our requirements are, and I just don't want to reply to everyone, because then they're like, well, why not? Or you've got someone smaller than me. It's like, yeah, it's my farm. Come on.
Or it's someone who got grandfathered in before we changed the rules. Like, who cares? No, I feel that. We've recently been doing some shifting around in GROP to be able to get good matchmaking and stuff like that. And so being able to set limits and things like that, might limits, as much as I hate doing it, it's one of those things that I think most people have to do. And if you're not going to do it, internally in your alliance, you kind of have to do it internally for yourself. I'm pretty sure you could agree it wouldn't make any sense to have a player, 15 million might, 30 million might in HNB when you're fighting guys at 300 million might themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, it's even tough for just T5, you know, unless they've got a good workshop and arms.
Well,
They're just nothing more than war and garrison fillers. So.
well, exactly. And as an individual who myself just unlocked tier 6 infantry myself, my riders and my range now only do one thing. They fill rallies and garrisons. I don't fight in the field with them. Well, exactly. I put them on the field once and I watch them get demolished and then I cry myself to sleep. What's the point?
Yeah. Go to my hospital.
Yeah. It's like I'm an infantry main. Why am I filling my hospital with range? Like that's not. I don't want to do that. I'd rather fill it with my infantry so that the rest can get killed. I don't care about them. So, what is your main, if you don't mind me asking?
Rider.
Rider, you're a rider main.
Obviously, because I don't have many troops, I do send out. I have infantry as well, but rider is my focus.
Yeah. Who's your favorite rider hero?
Bella.
Bella. I love Bella. I think the only thing I don't like about Bella is she's fast outside of battle and slow inside of battle. And I'm like, but I need her to be fast all the time.
Yeah, it's fast from running away.
As long as you don't get tagged and then she slows down. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. You're like, Jesus, cement in her shoes?
Or the stutter.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those times, like I'll tell you, in battle or battlegrounds. I'm not sure. Do you play Battleground very much anymore? No. I only
Bounty ground.
Yeah, Bounty Ground. Sorry.
No, I entrusted my account for others to do it for me.
Well, hey, if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it the right way. I can definitely appreciate that. Well, the only reason I mention it is because you said that stutter, and in Bounty Ground that stutter is so recognizable.
Yeah.
You're chasing someone, beating them down, and all of a sudden you did a moonwalk backwards. Like when did I become Michael Jackson? What is this?
It's just like a blip and take a break.
Yeah. Like right before they use their rage skill too. It's like they build up 5 or 4 bubbles and then the stutter step and now you're sitting there with a full rage. Like what is this?
So annoying, yeah.
So let me ask you, you've been playing the game, you said over 2 years now. I mean, 845 days is crazy. So you've seen it from its infancy in the game. Because I mean, the game itself is only really 3 years old?
Well, no, I think Region 1 was like 4 years now. Because I remember starting, and when we first had our first ever war event was Island Raid.
Yeah.
And who did we meet? Like Boone or whoever it was. And you just think, how have you played this for 2 years? And then here I am 2 years later. But
that's true. So we are what, 3.5, 4 years on the game, but you're 2.5 years in, you know what I mean? So like you've been since the beginning almost of the game. What was the first region that you started in?
11.
Oh, wow. Wowza. Yeah, region 11. That's crazy. My first region, I think, was 196 or 122.
Oh, wow. I remember it felt like there was just about 18 regions. It just felt like it was hardly anything forever. And then all of a sudden, every single day, there was a new region and then a new region. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and then they started putting out every region, a new region every day, 2 regions every day. And now we're sitting at 600 plus regions. Like, what the heck?
If I remember, first IR, I think there was only 10 maps. So G1 to G10, and that was it. Panda's probably got a YouTube on it somewhere.
I can't even fathom, like looking at the game now, I can't even fathom it being in such a juvenile space where you only had 10G rankings. You know what I mean? Like I can't think of it now because now we have G400 or something, in this last GW.
Yeah. So many.
But I mean, the good part there is that you've seen it kind of progress from where it was in its infancy to where it is now. And you've been able to kind of see that, like how the game itself is kind of maneuvered through, you know, the back and forth from the developers and the gamers, right? Mentioning that, how do you think the game is doing in comparison to how it was? Like, how do you see it kind of progressing along its path?
I think the difficulty that we obviously paid a fortune for migration before this new thing, and in a sense, I feel like it ruins it for new players, because obviously I don't know if you know about the region 531 where we set up HNBB. I did that for new players, but then they changed the matching method to Alliance Might, and they're a good alliance, really active, all new players, but then we have no T6, and then you're matched with T6 all the time now. So it's like kind of impossible for them to build and develop without spending a crazy amount of money, because they're always matching T6. But I mean, like the frequency of events now they've just changed it. Was it 3 a month listed? You know, that would be great if healing wasn't so expensive. You know, it costs a fortune for us to heal T6, and if you're going out every like 3-4 times a day to fight, obviously I know in the lower brackets, because I've played in them, it's not as heavy.
That's right.
But it still is if you're doing it 3 times a month.
Well,
so it's like,
that brings up a really good question. Looking at the current schedule that they have, where it's three events on, 1 week off, where do you kind of see a better balance? Is there a better balance that you can kind of see working out for the players better?
I think people will like it because it's obviously keeping them something to do, but the main thing will be the cost of healing. So I know for me, I hate Genesis War. I hate it. I don't see the point in it. So I've said I'll go and sit in the Farm Alliance. I don't care, and I'll take losers' rewards at no cost to me.
Right.
Because it's just an expensive Pompeii. So
that's a really good way to look at it. That's a really good way to look at it.
Keep killing myself in that.
Yeah, exactly. GW is one of those events where most people have a problem with, I think.
Well, the rewards, if you think, it's sort of going to be different in the lower ones because you've got more alliances in the Warzone, haven't you? But in Apex Warzone, you've got 16 alliances, and they're all competing for top 200 of War Meets War. You know, if I'm not going to make top 200, why do I want to get a reward for individual ranking? I mean, what's the point? And then in the lower brackets,
well, not to mention,
alliances.
Yeah, not to mention that, but the rewards for getting top 200 in War Meets War, or the rewards for getting, you know, even your 45 million points in War Meets War are really kind of subpar. So for the cost of what it takes to actually get those.
Yeah, so this GW, HNB, we said, you know, we're going to take it easy. We just had 2 heavy events. Take it easy. I didn't use any resources at all. I took the, you know, like the free heal every reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently now I've got 313k in my hospital, which I'll need to heal, and that's, you know, nothing. 150 mil of resources that I need to use, and I made 93 million points. So not in the top 200.
Well, not only are you not in the top 200, but like you mentioned, 150 million resources is still, like you said, it's a ridiculous amount to have to use to heal tier 6. And I'm only fresh into tier 6 myself. So experiencing the upgrade from tier 5 to tier 6 healing is astronomical in comparison to what it was.
Yeah, for T5, T4, but you know, that's what I'm left with to heal after taking advantage of the free stuff the game gives.
And I do have to give the game a little bit of credit because they do try to make things a little bit better. So like by giving back 65% of your hospital, by giving back 100% of your aid station, every day in the event. They are trying to make a little bit more of that. But my problem with GW is that every fight that you have in GW is inside of a building mostly, or inside of a garrison, or inside of a rally. So you end up killing so many more troops automatically, even if you don't have a full hospital yet.
Yeah. I mean, this is what my point was to Hans and other leaders in HNB. If we're matching an equal opponent in terms of like garrison rally, there's no point in trying to get the towers, because we're not gonna get to burn many. We're not gonna burn many of the towers. They're gonna just repair them, fill them again, and in an hour and a half, it's just pointless. So like SSI, we've matched them round 1 of on Friday, and they kept rallying our tower. We just kept filling it, and you're like, why am I? Just let them take the tower, but then you don't want to, because you're like, let them die. So we're just killing our troops, they're killing their troops, and then they did that for over an hour. Didn't take the tower, just killed loads of troops for nothing.
And at least with AR and IR, it's like a timed progress. You know what I mean? So like you've got 3 days to make this progress. So even if you spend an hour, burning troops on a tower, there's still benefit to that progress. Where in GW, it's really just like, here's your hour and a half, go out and do what you can. And most people in that situation, they almost lose sight of the goal of the game of taking the towers and defending the outposts, and instead take it as a new challenge to see how far they can push their opponents back into their bases. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened day 3. We had DDAV one side, New D the other. And HNB, we had a massive cut recently, so we've not got many players. So to try and split our alliance between 2 sides is quite difficult. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of us. So yeah, we need to revamp and restructure our strategies in events now until we build back up.
So what happened, if you don't mind me asking? That did you guys choose to split off, or was it internal stuff, or what happened?
No, well, we always monitor events on who participates, when they participate,
right?
And then if they're making points, like some people we don't want to let go, because they're really good, but then it's like Elite Warzone is going to be better for you,
right?
You're barely making 80 mil in Apex Warzone. You're better off going there and building yourself better, because claiming boxes in HNB, once you've got VIP, whatever it is, for good frags, there's no point. What speed ups aren't going to make you stronger. They're just going to build your troops.
Right.
You may as well go somewhere where you can get the rewards to build your arms up, get the DLS coins, the workshop materials.
Pick the right alliance. SARCI, you've mentioned some things here that I have been trying to get people to understand for a long time, and I find it difficult for them to digest. Just because, like you said, a lot of the... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it is. A lot of them don't want to. They want to stay with us. It's hard to find good active alliances as well. That's the trouble. Out of, you go to alliance, sometimes I'll go and play in smaller ones and they're not very active, or when you play for the community but the alliance don't really talk, it's like,
well, exactly. So if you need a couple of those key structures. But one of the toughest things that I'm trying to teach people is exactly that. You want to find an alliance that fits within your own capabilities. Like even in GROP, we're not, don't get me wrong, we're nothing special yet. We're only 4.5 billion, right? Kind of like on a good day, depending on where we're loading in at. But we have players who are that 15 million, 20 million might, who want to be here and they want to play here, and that's it. That's all they want to do. And I'm sitting here going, at 15 million might, there's literally nothing you can do. Your tier 3 troops don't make it to rallies. They don't make it to garrisons. They get kicked. And then you ask why you're not doing anything. And how am I supposed to tell you the nicest way possible? It's because you're too weak.
And it's sad because obviously we got rid of some. We explained in the mail why. But then in GW, we see them in alliances still qualifying for Apex Warzone. And you're like, why? Go somewhere where you can make the points. Because in HNBB, they land in like G14 or whatever now. It's crazy, but...
Are you there? Oh, I think I lost her. Hello? Oh. Just give it a second.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, it came up, said Discord's being updated.
Oh, that's totally fine. I can always cut out things that end up going funny. I'll edit things out. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. I really like your background, by the way. You got some really cool lights up on the wall and stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah, Christmas.
You got some wrapping paper there I saw there too. That's good.
Oh, God, yeah. I'll get that done at some point. Well, oh, sorry, I don't know where we were. Oh, yeah, I was just saying about the Apex Warzone, weren't we?
Yeah, basically picking the right alliance, making sure that you're in the right, alliance for your might, and then making sure that you're in the right alliance for what you're able to do. Like, don't try to shoot for the stars just because you can.
No, yeah.
Like, I've had people ask me to come play in other alliances and things like that, and I've literally looked at it and going, I could, and I would do pretty okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm nothing special. I'm just over 100 mil, right? So it's not like I can swing with the big boys, but that's really what's keeping me back from any of that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I would love to play with HNB. I would love to play with Boone. I'd love to play with some of these big hitters, but I know wholeheartedly there's not much I can do in those murder balls besides watching and cheering on from the sidelines,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Give me some pom-poms and that's about it, but,
There's, I mean, because we took in some who we thought, they're new accounts, they're developing well, they might be all right, but they just weren't even making 50 mil points in the event, and you're like, yeah, you're better off playing somewhere where you can get rewards, even just the stages of War Meets War, it's people need to aim for that.
And it's something that we're starting to take account into as well. I've started to think a lot about what I think really determines an active player. And don't get me wrong, being active in chat is one thing, being active in the community is another, right? Being part of the alliance, things like that, all that stuff matters. But to me, a lot of the main drives of this game is going to come down to the numbers that you put up during events, and if your alliance tech isn't done yet, the amount of donations that you do to your tech.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't know how many times. Well, exactly. Like I've been in so many alliances where, you see them weekly donating tech at 50,000 points, and I'm like, if you're only doing that in a whole week, and they give you 72 donations a day, even if you got the bare minimum, which is impossible, right? That's more than 52,000 points there by itself. So if you're telling me that you don't play the game enough to donate, or you don't play the game enough to push for War Meets War rewards, I honestly think the biggest determining factor is not how many points you get, but how your points relate to your might. So...
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? So, like, if you have 100 million might, like I do, you should be shooting for 100 million points. If you've got 50 million might, you should be shooting for 50 million points. If you shoot for a 1-to-1 ratio of your points to might, you'll end up not only placing well, performing well, but at the end of the day, getting better rewards. And find an alliance that allows you to do that.
Yeah, that's what people do. Like, I mean, we know that obviously it's difficult in our alliance for some to meet points, when you're going against somebody like Coco who has 22 workshop or whatever, but it's yeah,
it gets a little unfair,
He looked at me and I died. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Or I remember in our last AR we were fighting, or last IR, pardon me. We were fighting with someone who had a 5.5 million Julia. And in my experience, and in our G ratings, a 5.5 million Julia, you forget how influential that is. I mean, you can't win a rally against that. You can't break a garrison against that. That's huge. 5.5 million on a Julia is huge.
Yeah.
When the best that you're dealing with on mine is 3.5. Right? Like I've got a 3.5 Miyamoto that I'm proud of, but it's nothing in comparison to a 5.5 million Julia.
Yeah. It is.
Are you laughing at my Miyamoto because it's only 3.5? I appreciate it.
That's what mine is as well. Gosh, once you hit 3 million, it just doesn't. They just stop going, don't they?
Don't they?
Is it ever going to go any higher?
Ah. I think the highest I had was at 3.6, but then I had to move armaments around between my leader and my garrison line. So now Miyamoto is only 3.3, but my garrison is 2.7. So it's like balancing the best that I can to make sure that I'm able still to, not get burned at home. I don't know about you, but waking up to a bonfire is not necessarily the way to wake up.
I've never been burned, only by Save Me when he invaded 16.
Really? You've never been burned except by Save Me?
Yep.
You got to put a feather in your cap or something, because like I've been burned. I think I was burned twice last IR alone.
Oh my gosh. How do you do it? How do people get burned? I don't understand.
Listen, I made a mistake, okay? We were way out. I was totally cocky. I thought we were good. And then we got sidetracked and we got beaten in, when you fall asleep in the not safe zone and then you wake up and someone else made a move on you. Well, 7 times out of 10, you end up with a burned farm. You know what I mean?
That's people's main thing. I fell asleep. I'm like, how?
It's pretty easy though. You just close your eyes and you like calm down and you lay down somewhere comfortable. And then typically it happens pretty quickly.
Oh gosh. I'll always in AR I'll always port to the helipad before I go to bed.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that more often now. It's definitely, something that I'm working on, but I got burned twice, so starting over from scratch again. And I don't know about you, but when you get freaking 700,000 troops dead, 800,000 troops dead on a march, it really takes the wind out of your sails.
That's a lot in there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Knowing that you only get back 70%. Yeah. I don't know about you, but every time I see those death numbers go up, it makes me cry just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm just like, that was less to heal.
I can just see you on the battlefield walking through the hospital.
I hate healing. I hate it. I'm like, what a waste.
It's true. The healing aspect of this game is one of the ones that I think most people would agree is in shambles, I would say. Not only because it's expensive, but it takes so long. Holy crap.
Well, it's like a squad of T6 takes about 10 days to heal, and you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and then you're gonna put out.
squad.
That's right. You're gonna put out 5 of them. I'm like, all of a sudden, I've got
Yeah.
40 days of healing. What?
It is. And then obviously they upped the troop count, didn't they? So
Now we have more troops going more often, and they
Yeah.
didn't up the hospital count.
yeah, I said that. I said they need to add more hospitals.
Yeah, give me one more hospital to build up to 25. I'd be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about 300 mil resources to do that one.
I would honestly have that and have my troop count or my hospital count near 1 million than I would to struggle over having a troop count at 840 or whatever it's at right now.
Mm.
Give me that extra space. Give me that extra cap in my hospital at
How long have
least.
you been playing?
Just under 2 years, about 600 days.
Oh, okay. How many troops you got?
Right now, 1.7 million. How many troops?
Good. Is that including cars?
Yes, it's including cars, but I only have 200,000 cars. I have worked very hard to maintain only 200,000 cars. Okay, so I build them up and then I kill them off. Fuck cars, get them out of here. Extra points.
Good for raiding. That's about it. But you've got to get lucky with raiding, haven't you?
Well, especially with people not falling asleep and moving back to the helipad, SARCI.
Yeah, it's true.
I want more people to fall asleep.
We have some. You're not. So many do it, and I'm just like, how?
Well, I got to give you credit. If you're saying that you've never been burned at home except by when SafeMe invaded, I have to give you massive credit because, like,
yeah,
that's an award. You know what I mean? Like that's almost like a Nobel Peace Prize in the game.
Did you have? Were you around when Dark Seal was there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I played Dark Seal. It was one of my favorite events. I love Dark Seal.
So I'd always burn myself in that. Like just zero my troops out, and then that's the only other time where like I get hit for a free shield. Because you'd get that, wouldn't you? So I'd put my troops out as they come to hit me, get my free shield, and then go back home.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's just strategy.
Yeah.
It's like waiting until you're just about to get rallied before you random port out of there.
Oh yeah, or the ones who get rallied until their hospital partially fills and then shield.
Or jumping out, mass deporting. I remember when mass deporting all your troops out of your shelter.
Oh yeah.
While you were being rallied, because it would drop all 5 at the same time instead of just dropping one at a time. Yeah. Now, you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. Before they changed it.
Like... Yeah. Now you mass deploy one at a time. Boonk, boonk, boonk. It's so stupid. It makes me just question what they're doing at IGG.
Not taking feedback.
Isn't that right? And this is probably the part that blows my mind the most, because in these conversations that I've had with people, I've managed to understand a lot of what the player base so far, or what the player base is saying. And it doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you're on, whether you're a whale or whether you're free to play, a lot of the opinions are the same, right? Which is surprising to me that IGG is not taking advantage of that. Your player base is united on a lot of fronts. We talk about the community being fantastic. We talk about the healing being expensive. We talk about the migration being, too effective. We talk about needing balance. These are all things that we want. And IGG just seems to go,
what did they say? Yeah.
What did they say? They want a new duck skin? Sure, we can do that.
I love that duck.
Don't get me wrong. The duck is one of my favorite skins. I think they did a really good job.
I love him.
But
I just love watching him.
It's the total response to the community going, hey, give us actual change. And they go, sure, here's a duck.
Here's a duck, and we're going to tease you with a shelter skin with a duck.
Yeah, and that shelter skin's not coming till January now? Like, what the... Yeah. But the duck event is almost over.
They're probably going to extend it for another 30 days.
Oh, God. We want more ducks on the field. I'm okay with that, though. Let's see all the ducks.
I love them.
Little backpack, little pistol. I freaking love it, man. It's a good design.
So in Waterboy, he kills somebody and then he goes stomp, stomp, blows his horn like he's really proud of himself.
I know. It's so perfect. Honk, honk, honk.
Oh, he's so great.
It's probably my second favorite skin now. My first favorite skin is the Thor skin that they just released. Have you seen it?
Yeah, obviously.
Have you seen it in battle? Like, do you have people who actually have it yet?
Yeah, but battle's always in optimized mode, so it's...
You fight in optimized mode?
Yeah, how... If I don't, then my game's crashing. Oh,
I guess, do you play on your
it's
phone though,
crashing,
hey?
isn't it?
You play on your phone
No, I
though,
play
hey?
on the iPad. It's worse.
Oh, see, I play on PC. Ever since I got it on my PC, I can't not.
I know. I wish I don't have a PC. I have a laptop, but it's not that great for the game. It
No?
used to be all right, but then the game just got bigger and bigger, didn't it? So
Yeah, now it's pretty big, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
But so let me ask you, in all the time that you've been playing it, what would you say is the most monumental change that you've seen that they've done? Like comparing, let's say, for example, looking at opening migration or multi-regional alliances or anything along those matters. What do you think has been one of those monumental changes that they've put that has really kind of changed things for you?
Gosh. It's difficult, that, isn't it?
Well, it's just because they've changed so much so quickly, so it's like there's a lot to talk about,
I mean, like the migration thing is good to an extent. Like, I don't think they need to do it to the newer regions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should be capped maybe at so many, like once you've done, you can have 3 limit or whatever. Because when it first started, I don't know if you remember, the rules were you get to migrate, and then when migration ends, you get to choose one of your last 5, I think it was,
Mm-hmm.
that you can go back to.
Right.
I guess that rule's gone now. I'm not really sure unless they decide to end it and be like, oh, the last 5. But
So for new accounts, they give new accounts, from what I understand, I think it's 3 migration tickets.
is it free?
I think they get 3 of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then so they get 3 chances to find a new region or whatever.
I mean, it's only $1, isn't it? For
Well, now, yeah. Now that they open it up 99 cents, Jesus.
after we paid like 500 euro.
Right, right?
Crazy.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be the first one to say that costing that much to migrate was right in the first place. But is it not a slap in the face when they go, here, now gives it to everybody else for a change?
Yeah, it does, especially when it was like the following week.
Yeah.
What?
Or like when you get the situation where it's like those gem spend events where you end up spending all your gems and then 2 days later they drop a surprise gem spend event on you. And you're like,
oh yeah, the gem rebates.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know when that is. I know when that is. So.
Oh, so you got insider experience.
No, when loot exchange comes on your calendar,
Yeah.
it's the Tuesday and Wednesday after.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Gem rebate. Because obviously everyone normally spends theirs on the Monday, their gems.
Right.
And then you normally get a roulette that week as well for some kind of stuff. It changes.
Tuesday and Wednesday following the trade and stuff.
Yeah. Because that will show normally on the Friday loot exchange. It's coming. So then
That's good.
Okay, gem rebates is coming next week as well.
I'm going to remember that because I don't know how many times I've been punched in the nuts by spending my gems. And then it's like you spend 30,000 gems and then the next day, gem rebate. You're like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always say it is when it normally happens, just in case the game decides to change it, because they did it with a roulette. I used to know when a roulette was always coming and then that just stopped. So.
Well, I mean, they seem to change the schedule as often as I change my underwear. So, like, I mean, even if you look at the All-Star Night, right? The progression of what we had, we've gone. I mean, it's really been random. So we went Rider.
Yeah, we skipped Rider twice.
No, well, we skipped. We went Rider for 2 cycles, Range for 2 cycles, Rider for 2 cycles, Infantry for 2 cycles. So it's like we missed Infantry like 2 cycles through, and then they went 1 week apart. So then it was like 1 week was Rider, 1 week was Ranged. This next one is Infantry, and then we have 2 Ranged again.
Yeah, because it's the new hero, isn't it?
Yeah, they got the new hero, so they're gonna do a new, which I bet you will be Siogina. I bet you will be Siogina.
Who's that?
That's the one that they just took out for Nora.
Oh.
They just did
They'll make her legendary.
well, I think that's what's going to happen. So they took Gina out and they replaced her with the model for Nora, and they
Yeah.
said that they were going to bring Gina back. And I think they're going to remodel her as a legendary. At least that's what my assumption is that they're going to remodel her as a legendary and bring her out in this next event after this TC.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, for them, doesn't make sense to me. I don't need another new hero. I'm still working on Stella. Come on, we just got her. Like, Jesus.
I don't care about range, so that's fine.
Yeah, me neither. The only thing I care about range is how much it hurts me when they hit. That's the only thing that I really care about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind hitting weaker range, if I'm sending them to the hospital, but
well, I guess
that doesn't happen.
I guess you as a rider main, I mean, you get more of that privilege to be able to hit those ranged people more often, right?
Yeah, just as long as it's not somebody with a, as long as I'm not running into Save Me or Yes Please or all them lot.
Or
they can stay away.
Or a 5.5 million Julia. Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, I mean, 5.5 mil is better than a 7 mil, isn't it? So...
That's true. And I had the ability to play with Zed from FIB, and he's got a 7 million Ragaro. So, or like a 6.5 million Ragaro. So being able to see some of his garrison power was pretty crazy.
He loves his garrison, doesn't he?
That's what he plays, right? He plays garrison main, and I don't blame the guy because he knows the mechanics pretty well. Like, he's pretty tuned into like the calculations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I give the guy credit, and I'd like to play a little bit like him, but it's, again, my Ragaro is only 2.5, so I'm leaps and bounds away from where he is. You know what I mean?
Oh God. I don't think there is an 8 mil yet. I don't know.
No, I think the highest you can get is 7.5 with the special armaments.
From like what's his face, Marco.
Yeah, Marco or Mize.
Yeah.
Who do you think the next? Who do you think they're gonna do for the next collaboration?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know who these things are now. I don't play any other games. I don't even understand. They're like, what was the last one before the duck?
Metal Slug.
Oh yeah. So I didn't have a clue what that was. And Han was like, "Did you have a childhood?"
Yeah, no doubt. Like, where you living under a rock? What the heck are you talking about?
It's like I've never even heard of this. It's like my childhood was Mario. Come on.
Hey man, if you never played Metal Slug, you're missing out. I'm telling you.
I've never even heard of it. I was like, what?
There's a lot of those cool like side scroller type games that were out there though during that time. I think they got tons of potential. There's tons of potential. It just depends on where they want to go, So let me ask you, are you prepping for the World Championships at all?
No, not this year.
No?
This time. I'm not. Hans obviously is making a team. I can't go. I went to the last one.
How was it?
Pompeii. It was good. Not long enough.
Yeah.
Personally, like, obviously the event itself was long enough, but for a getaway, it weren't.
Yeah, it was what, like 3 days or something like that time?
Yeah, we got longer, because obviously, what was it for me, 20 hours travel or something?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so but yeah, so we got to go in a day earlier than it was. Some people stayed later, which you did at your own cost, but they just booked a flight back home later. Which is something, if anyone's going out and they're traveling far, I'd really recommend that. So it's
booking the extra time.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you're going to somewhere like Bangkok. Like, no offense, but if I'm going to Bangkok, I want to take an extra couple of days and like experience the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the only downside this time is it's spenders one, isn't it? To qualify.
Yeah, that's true.
A Glorious Journey one's fine. Everyone can max that out on the points. That's easy, even free to play. So it's the TC. What is it? 1 billion points. Like that's what it's capped at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, the only person that's getting 1 billion is Save Me.
Yeah, or any
Yeah.
of those other, I've seen a lot of them, hitting 700. Like I think in the last infantry main or the infantry TC that we had,
Oh,
ours
yeah.
topped out at like 700 million or something like that. Like that's just unreal.
I mean, I got 300 mil or something in this rider one, and I came 7th. I'm like, I give up. I don't normally compete in TC because I don't think it's worth it. So I just normally I was like, oh, I'm just playing for fun. I'm just gonna do it. And I was like, why?
He crushed out 7.
300
He
mil
crushed.
and came 7th.
I don't
I'd rather
mean.
use my speed up in war.
I don't mean to laugh, but it's so ironic because it's one of those things, and this is one of the things that I think that they screwed up on when they made everything multi-regional, when they made TC multi-regional, when they made the arena multi-regional, when they made alliances multi-regional, that became a problem. Because if you think about it, even within your own area or within your own region, the most you'd ever see of someone in TC was a couple 100 million if they were really, pushing. Yeah. But now every single TC, you're topping out at 400, 500 million, 600 million for some of them. It doesn't make sense to me.
Free to play have managed to save me like all this time. I mean, I swear there's some devs on there. When you see like these. Oh, well, I had someone in there with a 195 ID or something, and they had like a crazy amount of points on the workshop phase. And I'm like, no way.
On the workshop phase?
Yeah.
How the heck are they going to have stuff saved up for that?
Exactly. I was like, no chance. I mean, unless obviously they're putting RTC and they still get, what is it, like 200% bonus?
Yeah.
But I don't know when that stops.
Well, I think it's only after the first 30 days of your account.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Well,
they pretty much do everything they can to give you a boost for the first month, and then after that they forget about you.
Yeah, that's about right.
Holy Jesus. So you're sitting at 173 million with troops still in the infantry, correct?
Yeah.
So you're getting close to that. Have you cracked that 200 million yet?
No.
No?
No. I finally got 1 mil infantry and 1 mil riders, and I said I've done it. And CNX and CNX and whiskey turned around and went, yeah, don't give you until the end of the year. I was like, thanks. So thanks for that.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little backhanded comments, compliments with a punch. I can appreciate that.
Well, I made 1 mil infantry months ago, and I'd just never been able to get it back. But now I did.
Well, I'm saving up all my speed ups for this next TC, so I'm gonna dump it into that one and hopefully rank 7th.
Yeah. Get bumped by some farmer gal. See, Armoured.
Yeah.
You're going to tap to Armoured, yeah? Well, his TC, he was there in region asking for a buff for his farm, and I was like, "And you complain about farms in TC?" And he said his farm was sitting 3rd. I'm like, oh, can you imagine if that was in my TC? I would not have been happy.
I do give him credit though. I mean, if you can take it with a farm, it's like a.
I don't think could with mine. It's like sitting there on hundreds of hours of speed ups. I wish I could send them to myself.
Yeah, right? I wish there was a way we could pass those resources. Or victory badges or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've been asking that for a long time, but even now the developers are like, meh.
They should do some kind of trading. I mean, do you remember last year, the Christmas thing, you had to do that trade to decorate your tree?
Yeah.
You swap candy cane for baubles or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they should do that with the victory badges, lookout boxes. It's like...
That's a great idea.
Yeah, VIP, you got all these whales sat there.
Yeah, even if they did it once every 6 months like they do the defense roulette, totally happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd save up for that and freaking spam that whole thing.
Man, I would happily give all my victory badges away for a few relocators.
Or some speed ups or something, some troop
Yeah.
relocators.
No.
No, I definitely
And
appreciate that.
no, they're just sat in our bag. We can't even exchange them in loot exchange. So what's the point?
Yeah, and then there's lots of people sitting on like tens of thousands. I only recently got mine, and I'm already on like 5,000 extra.
Oh, you got your lookout tower, yeah. Not lookout tower, battle center.
Yeah,
I
well,
tell people all the time, don't gem it. Don't gem it until your research is all at 15. But they gem it, and I'm like, well, whatever.
yeah, I only gemmed the last level just because I was being held up by it. Everything else was done.
Yeah.
Tier 6 and everything
No,
was ready to go, so I had to gem a little bit. But it wasn't so bad.
no, no, because a lot of people do it. They gem it, but then they've not got the speed ups, for the free of death.
Yeah, the 120-day ones.
Yeah. So that's
Kind
why I
of,
say to them, don't just do all your other research first until you save up.
yeah, no doubt. Like 120 days. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a research for 4 months.
It is.
And then you
Oh,
have 3 of them. 3 of
I'm
them.
surprised they didn't bring in T7 to make it a year one.
Hey, don't bring that bad juju into the world. They might still do that, okay? They might still drop tier 7 on us sometime, okay? Let's not hope. Let's not hope.
HG30 T7.
Yeah, you'll see your workshop go up to 50 T7s. Ugh.
Gosh.
Talk about a weird drop that one was when they dropped the workshop to 15, then like 2 weeks later they're like, nah, change their mind, we'll go to 25.
It was. I remember me and Hans had gone to our academy thing for AR, and that was when the workshop come out. And I felt like I was a T3. We bumped in. There was this player called Mars. I don't know where he is now, and he had maxed out the workshop, and
Mhm.
I can't remember. I'd got T3, but it wasn't that high level, and I lost 1 million might, and I was like, "Oh my god, this workshop is crazy." I just wanted to quit there and then. I was like, "Forget it, I'm done."
Yeah, and then they dropped it to 25 like 2 weeks later for no reason. Oh, all of a sudden your voice is gone. Smack something.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, it's because I was getting a phone call, probably.
No, that's totally fine. That was
Yeah.
perfect timing. Yo, we lost your voice. Just hit it or something. Boonk. Can you hear me? Yep. Oh, that was perfect. That was perfect. Oh, man. So we've been chatting now for almost an hour. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's been
Long
almost
time,
an
isn't it?
hour. It's been time. It's been flying. It's been great.
Gosh.
But that's exactly what I've been trying to do. Just have these good conversations, just to kind of see how things are working. And I want to say again, thanks very much for joining us. I think we're going to end it up around here. Just
Yeah.
because I mean we've touched on a lot of good topics. We've had a lot of good conversation. But I want to give you one last chance. I got 2 last kind of questions for you.
Okay.
I want to ask you one directly that I like to ask everybody. And that question is this. If you had the developer's ear, let's say hypothetically they stumbled across your video and they heard this and they were actually listening, they were actually paying attention. If you had the developer's ear for the next 30 seconds, what would you tell them in order to give Doomsday the best future that it could possibly have?
I would say, keep up the events as they are, but if you're going to, then reduce the cost to heal and the
Mm-hmm.
time to heal. So it gives everyone a chance. Whales use billions, smaller players use a lot. We all need that adjustment to be able to manage. The migration, if you want to keep having a good flow of players coming in, then you need to stop these people going in. It's not even Wales, it's old T6 accounts going to new regions and taking over the metro and doing the matching based on alliance might. 4 bill alliance is of T4, T5, always matching T6. If you're going to do it on alliance might, do it just for Apex Warzone, not all war zones,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not fair. not everyone has T6. Not everyone. Some whales will go just to get easier rankings, and it's prohibiting or slowing down the growth of new players because they're not managing to rank or make points. So yeah, that's about what I'd say for that.
And I would say that's probably about the most common type of answers that we get.
Mm-hmm.
Is exactly that same type of thing. Like, make sure that we're addressing more of the concept so that the newer players and the younger players and things like that get a better chance, so that they're not
Yeah,
walking into tier 6 whales or people that have been playing for 3 years, or you know what I mean. Like, keep some of that balance a little bit better than
yeah.
what
I
they
mean,
have.
in GW HNBB, we had no T6, and they were always just getting helipadded 2v1 because they're the weaklings. They're the most active on that map,
Yep.
but they're not the strongest. With the 10 swarm cap, we couldn't take down a T6 easily. We were only T4, so it was like, ugh. I just said, just go back and just I won't feed them points if they want to sit and do that.
Well,
And
exactly.
that's the way to hurt people. It's the way to hurt people. You want to be a bully, you want to stop people doing stuff, then we won't give you any points.
Right.
We can fight, or you can stand and block our way, but either way, you, you want to block our way, we won't come out.
And I think that's what a lot of people have kind of addressed when it comes to Genesis War by itself, because the matchmaking itself is pretty, it's pretty mediocre. They can't decide on whether they want to do it based on might or based on rating. Even when they base it on rating, a lot of the ratings are inflated. Like, it becomes a situation where matchmaking by its own right is a whole other episode we could talk about.
Yeah.
Spending a whole other hour just talking about the ways to improve
Mhm.
matchmaking. But I think the biggest thing is exactly like you said. They need to focus more on the average player and less on the top of the line player, because they have more average players than they have anything else.
Yeah.
Right? That's what they need to focus
Yeah.
on.
It is.
So I
Yeah.
totally agree
I
with that.
cast myself. I can see the both perspective from Wales free to play and then just people like us. It's yeah. The Wales need us, and the free to play don't necessarily need the Wales, but in the matching process they do because there's one you're guaranteed to probably be matched with one.
Well, the free to play players need the whales, because if they didn't have the whales, there wouldn't be the game in the first place.
Well, yeah,
Right?
of
So, like,
course.
I think the hardest thing to understand is that even in this game, when you have players, like, yes, we need to focus on the free to play player because it is the average player, but I think we can agree now this game is no longer free to play. It's free
Oh
to
yeah, no.
it's free to try,
Yeah,
but that's about it. I mean, you, in order to actually participate, compete, and things like that, that you have to be willing to spend a little bit, um, or at least budget, something to be able to spend a little bit. Otherwise, it's no longer as balanced as it used to be, and I think that's a
I
big
mean, I guess
problem.
that's where like Alliance Gold can come in, but then obviously that's only good in alliances that have spenders as well.
Or
Mm.
alliances that are willing to use that spending for the actual benefit of the alliance itself. Like, in
Yeah,
our alliance, for example, we like to give alliance gold to people who shine at being a good alliance member, whether they're active in chat, active in events, things like that. We like to give them gold
yeah,
regardless of whether they spend or not, right? And we have, in a lot of situations, given free to play players gold. They don't even know what to do with it, right? Because they've never had to
yeah,
experience it before. But that 99 gold to a person who's never spent gold before, or 400 gold or 499 gold to someone who's never spent gold before, is a huge motivational factor for them to want
mm,
to get out, play harder, play better, and do more,
yeah,
which I think is a better transfer,
yeah.
right?
I mean, we're obviously in a position to be able to, we the past two skins we've given all members the 1,000 gold to be able to buy that skin. Um, I don't even know what the benefits of this Christmas boot are, but they don't have to buy the skin, but with the benefits that come with it, on that column, it makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if they wanted to use it on armory or T3 stuff, then fine. But it was.
So that's actually an interesting question, and I do want to actually ask it now that you mentioned it. Before we kind of break off here, what out of HNB, what kind of gold do you guys generate?
How often?
Yeah, like no, I mean, obviously you generate daily, but like, let's say for example, in a month, how much gold do you guys think your alliance generates in a month?
Um, well, I know this month it's been about 500k. So, well, the past 3 weeks. Uh,
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the benefits to being part of HNB. That is the part to benefits to being part of the top cream of the crop. You end up in situations where your alliance is generating 500,000 gold in a month.
Yeah, but there has just been spending things, on shelter skins and wars.
It's true. It's true. Don't get me wrong. It comes with the territory of having to put in the work.
Yeah.
But those are some pretty sweet coffers in the long stretch of things.
Oh, you can see the rankings, can't you? I mean, SSI's got to be crazy because they.
Yeah, SSI, Rock, man, they I looked at their stuff once, and I remember seeing a couple 100,000 just sitting in their coffers, and I went, at that point it's just so much more. Like, I thought we were doing good generating, we were generating at one point like 20,000 a month, or like 20,000 a week, sorry. So it was like pretty okay. Well, I mean, it really made for benefiting out the majority of players, right? And we thought we were doing, but Jesus, five times as much.
I mean, we distribute ours monthly now, so we've got a lot in there. Next week is when it should be distributed. But
do you distribute back to the players who put into it in the first place?
Yeah, so it's like done on percentages for all the players. Everyone gets something.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. I mean, it's really hard to monitor because obviously say someone's put in, I don't know, 3,000, for example, 3,000 gold. If you give that person a percentage of that back or the whole 3,000 back, it doesn't come off their contribution log.
Right.
So it will always build, and because everyone's like, can't we do this? Can't we do that? And we're like, well, who's going to monitor it? It's a lot of work for any player to do. Never mind not being paid to do. So
yeah, well, exactly.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, because I do it for the HNBB Alliance. They'll get their gold back, but now I'm just like, oh, I can't keep doing this because you keep donating, but it's not coming off
when you get it back.
Yeah, and I can't be bothered to keep track.
Well, it's
simple as that, really.
It's something that people still have to realize. This is a game. This is a casual experience video game. It is a hobby for people. And as much as there is lots of other things that we could do, I mean, just like you mentioned, we don't get paid for this.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a hobby. We do this because we want to, not because there's any other kickbacks.
No, exactly. So, I mean, like people say, they would have spent anyway. So the gold, I mean, I don't know if I can say, in HNBB, we are using the gold for something at the minute, healing.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so we're using it for that, which, that benefits the whole alliance then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that we need. So, and they don't get a lot of gold in 531, so it's just, that's what it go on, and then whatever's left. So I sent all members had 300 gold to buy those first two things of the I don't know what it's called now. The T3 blueprints.
Yeah.
In the workshop, so they all had that.
The ultimate device.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, so they had the 300 gold to buy the first two, and then when we've got enough, they'll get the next one, which I think is 200 gold. So, it would be great if I could send them all 1,000, like HNB can, but we can't. So.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, it's good that you're still looking at being fair with how you distribute. I've been like, this has been a moment of contention for us within the alliance, because you have the people who spend, who think that they should get their gold back because they're spending.
Yeah.
But I look at it and go, but this gold vault is all bonus material anyways. This isn't stuff that you were ever planned to get anyways. It's extra. So as much as you think it would be fair for all of it to go back to you, the alliance has to look at what's best for the alliance. And so there's...
I mean, you want to help, surely you want to help everyone else be able to help you on field. You know, it's...
Well, exactly. And I always bring this back to this one experience that I had in the first alliance that I ever played with. The leader of the alliance was named King. And everything was done in the advancement of the king. So, for example, farming outside the line, the alliance territory line, obviously it doesn't make sense to farm outside the territory line. We can agree on that, right? Totally fair. Except when all of the nodes inside the territory are full.
Yeah.
Then you have no other choice. Farm outside the line. In my first alliance, they wouldn't let you. They would kick you and burn you if you farmed outside the line.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, well, how am I supposed to... Like, you just have to wait for the next node. There will always be another node. You just have to wait for the next node. And I went, no.
Yeah.
How am I now? Like, how am I supposed to help in a fight if I'm weak? You know what I mean? Like, I can't... But it's the same type of mentality. All for the king. No, I don't like that idea. Not a fan. You know, for the cause, you know, for the horde.
I used to hate that, you know, when back in the day it was, don't farm in our territory, I'm going to attack your farmers. And people would share it to me. They're like, can I attack it? I'm like, well, you can, but you got to finish that node. I'll leave it to them to finish it.
I like that mentality. I'm going to remember that. Can I attack this person farming in an area? Yes, but you have to clean their node. That's perfect.
Your name left on it now.
That's right. That's perfect. Man, that's a great way to end this. This is going to be a good part. So I got one last thing to ask of you. And one last thing to give you the capability before we round out here today. And that really is just to give you the microphone to give any shout outs to any of the friends that you want to say hi to, or any alliances you want to say hi to, or anybody else you want to give a shout out to.
I don't like any of them.
That's right. I don't like any of them. There's nobody. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, from the leader of HNB. She doesn't like any of the other ones.
They would say that. They would agree. Bane's gay. They would say that.
Bane is gay. No.
Hans likes a baton. So offer Hans a baton if you speak to him. Oh gosh.
Bane's gay and Hans like the bands. Yeah.
It says it on our board. Someone put it on our board that gay's the biggest gay lord or something like that. Gay? Bane.
Which is so funny. I feel, how do I put it? I feel so happy to be in those chats when they just go off on making fun of him. Like, it's just so wholesome. You know what I mean? It's just so nice.
Yeah, this is what I like about HNB is everyone can have a laugh. You know, if people are easily offended, they don't tend to stay long.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Being in Geno's chat long enough, I've seen enough of HNB to definitely appreciate that. That is true.
Yeah, we have a laugh and a joke, and that's what I like. You go on there to just chill and unwind, and you know, when you can sit and just joke about everyone. You know, Oli's an easy target. Bane is. They're all easy targets, really, for me.
Well, I think what you've done is you've really just kind of formulated what the whole benefit is. It's not necessarily about the people or the game or anything like that. Just like you said, it's a great place and a great way for us to unwind, to kind of take a break from everything else. And that's kind of the root of everything, right? That we've been talking about. This is a game. This is, you know, it's a hobby. It's not a full-time job for people. It is something they do because they want to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like same with like buff givers, you know, they're the most underappreciated people in the game.
Right?
But the amount of complaints you get when there's no one on, I'm like, there's 5 people who can give you a buff. I'm sorry there's not been anyone on for half an hour while you want to train 2,000 troops. You know, just give them a break.
Or give them some gold, you know what I mean?
Right now.
Yeah, that's right. You could have been done training on your next 2,000 already. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh.
Or at least give them some gold, you know what I mean? Like, those are the people that should get tons of gold from every alliance.
I mean, we always, in Region 16, buff givers have always been ones that get loot ever since it started, you know. Every week they'll get the top loots. But that's... because they come and go, you know. Sometimes they can do it, sometimes they can't. But people need to understand, because that's what I'll say to people. Well, if they complain, you can be a buff giver if you want.
Yeah, do you want the responsibility? And I can guarantee you they're going to say no.
Nope.
Nobody wants the responsibility, but they want everyone else to have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they want to be able to get it when they want it.
It's like R4 status. Everybody wants to be R4 until they understand what the responsibility of coming with R4 does.
Yeah, hate it.
Right? Trust me, if I could take a step back to R3 and not have the responsibilities of leading everybody, I would. But I know that we wouldn't be doing nearly as good as we are.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you see people in EC and they're like, recruit him, join us and you can be R4, I'm like, is that a threat? You're threatening me?
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. That's right. Yeah. I thought you were trying to entice me, not keep me away. What is this?
Yeah. Oh, it's like I try and get a break from HNB R4, and I'll leave the alliance just to drop out of it, and I'll go back, and all of a sudden I'm R4 again. I'm like, oh, I'm good, and now I'm president. So that's Bane. Giving me R5.
I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you have a lot of people that are willing to follow you, is it really a bad thing? You get to put your name up on the top, young lady.
Yeah. It gets tiring though, you know?
Yes.
You're like, all the messages, and I mean, I told these that we'll do the zombie bosses at 1600, and I bet they're like, oh, where are we going?
You're doing your zombie bosses today?
Yeah, do it straight after Antipede, get it over and done with.
Holy Jesus. Oh, I totally forgot we had Antipede today. I missed it on the other account. Oh, well.
I don't need to do it, but I do it for the speed ups.
Yeah, exactly. And my farm account is a farm account anyways. I don't really care.
Oh, yeah, that's fine then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That one does all right. It's, you know, it's okay. If it forgets an Antipede once in a while, it's all right. I think that Antipede is only level 7 anyways, so.
Yeah, our farm alliance is level 9.
Yeah, you still got 2 levels on me there too in your farm alliance. Rub that in. That's good. Just a little salt in the wound. Just. Anyways, SARCI, that has been one hell of a conversation. I am so glad you have sat here with us. It has been an absolute blast. I hope so. It has been a pleasure for me. All mine. You know, you don't get to have any of it. It's all mine.
Oh.
So
it's my Christmas gift.
That's right. Like the Grinch, I'm just gonna take it all. No, but seriously, it's been an absolute conversation. I've had an absolute blast getting to know you. I want to say thanks so much for tuning in again. Anybody who has been watching this at home, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, fill out the notification bell so you get any other new updates whenever we drop videos. And other than that, I want to say to the community as a whole, just be nice to each other. You know, as much as this game itself can be, you know, as much as it can get get you down or get you trolly with all the stuff that we spoke about today, just realize that the majority of things that keep people coming back is the community. It's the people that you meet, the friends that you meet, and that's really what this is all about. So, Sarci, thanks very much for joining us. I'm glad to have you in part of my friends group now. And if you need anything else, you know where to reach me. My inbox is always open.
Yeah, it's great. Have a great Christmas.
You too. Everybody else at home, love, peace, chicken grease, and until next time, stay lifted.